represent. And so here's my understanding, and we're going to learn a lot more. Why the fair tax? Well, you got to keep your entire paycheck. You got to keep every dime you earn. Social Security and Medicare funding, the benefits won't change. You'll get a tax refund on the basic necessities. We'll talk about maybe advanced refund. You pay tax and only what you spend. So if you don't spend too much, you're going to have a lot more to keep in your pocket. Everyone pays their fair share, and the IRS is no longer needed. Well, why not? Why should we go down that direction? Well, the fair tax replaces all the taxes, but it gets a sales rate of up to 23%. Regressive taxes are a poison for society, do nothing to help the economy. The fair tax creates new tax collectors. Thousands of individuals and businesses have never collected taxes or have to get involved in the tax collection business. May turn some of those folks into criminals because they didn't take the necessary resources in place to collect those taxes. And, this rebate given out will make people even more dependent. And finally, the fair tax eliminates thousands of jobs, particularly at the IRS. I don't know if there'll be a lot of sympathy there, but anyway, so this is the big picture for both sides. I took it at the 20,000 foot level. These guys are going to take it right down to ground level, and we really look forward to going on this evening here. So we'll start, and if you don't mind me being casual tonight, I can say the Honorable or the State Representative, or I can just come forward and say, Andrew, give it a shot. Will Andrew work? Okay, go ahead. Andrew, you're on.
All right, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. What I'm advocating is a consumption tax, not specifically the fair tax, although I think at a national level the fair tax is a good model. The reality is taxation is damaging economically. It removes capital from the markets by confiscating people's money and restricts freedom. This nation and state was formed to protect people's natural rights. Article 1, Section 2 of the Missouri Constitution says this, that all constitutional government is intended to promote the general welfare of the people, that all persons have a natural right to life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and the enjoyment of gains of their own industry. That all persons are created equal and are entitled to equal rights and opportunity under the law. That to give security to these things is the principal office of government, and that when government does not confer the security, it fails in its chief design. In order for government to do these things, some taxation is necessary. There are primarily three types of taxation. You have property tax, such as a real estate tax. Currently, the state of Missouri does not have, from a general revenue perspective, have a property tax. Obviously, there's local property taxes. There is a consumption tax, such as a sales tax. There is a tax on production, such as an income tax or a value-added tax. Now, there are other taxes, such as excise taxes, fees, and tariffs. I want to focus primarily on the first three. When one is advocating eliminating one of these taxes, by default, they're supporting either one or both of the other two types of taxation. Whatever is taxed is going to be harmed. If you tax property, then the state will be discouraging people from acquiring property. If you tax the production of products, then you're going to be discouraging job creation and discouraging manufacturing in your state. If you tax consumption, you'll be discouraging people from buying things in your state. The best tax system is one that is used for collecting revenues of the state, not manipulating markets. It should be broad-based so we can have the lowest possible rate. And we need one that does the least amount of damage to its citizens. The best tax system is one that is transparent, neutral, simple, maintain a broad base, and one that is stable. Missouri's budget is roughly $8 billion from the general revenue perspective. About $5.6 billion comes from the income tax. $1.9 billion comes from our 3% sales tax. The total sales tax Missouri has is 4.225, but 1.225 is not general revenue. And the remaining about $300 to $400 million comes from other miscellaneous taxes. I'm very much opposed to instituting a new property tax here in the state of Missouri. This is because because you would be handing over a piece of your property to the state. People would never own their own property. It would give the power of the state to take people's property for failure to pay taxes. I'm also very much opposed to an income tax. According to the IRS, there is between 15 and 17% fraud. It is used to manipulate markets. Here in Missouri, there is $629 million in transferable tax credits, which is no different than corporate welfare. It is destructive towards job creation and wealth. The income tax is 50% less, or 50% more volatile than the income tax over the last 50 years here in Missouri. This makes it hard for governments to budget. I don't necessarily like the consumption tax, but it is the last tax standing. The consumption tax removes individuals from complying with the tax code, and only businesses would be administering the taxes. So I support eliminating the income tax and support a broader sales tax.
Okay, thank you, Ken.
All right, everyone, this is my third time introducing myself. This is a great crowd here tonight. It's amazing to see all you guys here. Once again, I'm the committee man from Wild Horse Township, just a couple minutes south of here. I want to thank all of you for coming to this debate tonight. I want to thank Representative Koenig, Joe Wetter, Lloyd, Sloan, and once again, a big thank you to our moderator here tonight, John Brunner.
Now, Ken, you're using up that as the time.
I know.
Ready to go.
This is my speech, and it's not tonight marks a big night for Republicans, and not only St. Louis County, but for all of Missouri. This debate is the first of its kind for Republicans in Missouri because of the contrasting beliefs we all have up here on the stage. I am up here tonight representing an organization, Lloyd and I, founded back in July, called No Mo Sales Tax. Our organization is fighting to end regressive taxation here in the state and getting the government off the backs of small businesses across Missouri. I spent part of my summer this year in the state of Oregon. Oregon, some of you may know, has no sales tax across the state. That, of course, appealed to me and helped influence the creation of our organization here in Missouri. Oregon currently ranks number 10 in projected job growth in 2013, sitting at 2.2%, according to Forbes magazine. Oregon's tax structure is fairly equal for everyone. The lowest 20% for non-elderly taxpayers in Oregon pay about 8.3% of their annual income. The top 1% pay roughly 7%. Oregon's highest state income tax rate for the top 1% is at 9.9%, which I think is way too high, and was reduced from 11% in 2012. While the top 1% of Oregonians pay a high income tax, the lowest 20% in the state pay the highest personal property tax rate of 4.4% of their income, and they do have an excise tax at 2%. I'm not advocating that Missouri takes the same route as Oregon because truly I don't like any methods of taxation, as all Republicans should. I believe that taxes should only be for basic necessities of government, and all Republicans of course agree on that. Now, my opponents on the other side of the table tonight want to replace the income tax in Missouri with a consumption tax or a retail sales tax. That's what they're fighting for tonight. Our friend Representative Koenig sponsored a bill here in Missouri last year that would effectively eliminate the state's income tax by, I believe, January 2nd, 2017, and then while raising the state sales tax to 7%. There are a few things in there that would be exempt, like food and other stuff that I won't go into. The state sales tax rate with municipalities combined cannot exceed 10% according to his bill. This bill, of course, would require a constitutional amendment to be voted on by citizens of Missouri in order to repeal the state's income tax. I am personally opposed to this model because it would vault Missouri into the top 10 most progressive states in the country. A lot of individuals want to model Missouri after Tennessee, and Tennessee doesn't even rank in the top 10 for job growth according to Forbes magazine. Our organization has come up with a plan to lower the state sales tax by 1% over a period of 5 years. Missouri would see a revenue loss of roughly $1.87 billion, which is what, according to Andrew Koenig, said is the 3% collected each year for the state. Over the past 5 years, Missouri has seen an increase in sales tax collection by over 4%. Though the state rate hasn't changed, municipalities have jacked up rates, and some combined rates within the cities in the state exceed 11%. My goal is, of course, to help give tax relief to every Missouri resident, and cutting sales tax does just that. This is a plan that both Republicans and Democrats should like. It helps out working class Missouri poor, but still gives tax relief to everyone. Once again, I want to thank all of you for being here tonight, and I look forward to a great debate. Thanks.
Okay, next on is Lloyd.
Thank you, John, and thank you all for coming here again. There's one other person I want to thank before we start into, and that's Brenda Webb. Her name hasn't been mentioned, and she can people hear me? Is the mic too loud? Okay. She basically did the program and did a lot of organization on the venue tonight, and I wanted to make sure she got credit for that. When we first started